So the date is Tuesday, March 12th. My name is Kyle. I'm here with Dr. Christa Schmidt. And the first question I have for you, Dr. Schmidt, is with... Actually, let me go back and...
I'm just going to close the door just so we don't get interrupted.
Yeah,
but go
that's
ahead.
perfectly fine. So can you just first off explain what mental health is and how that relates to academic performance?
Mm-hmm. So mental health is a pretty broad way of thinking about how well people feel and how well they function in terms of their daily lives. So and those can be different things, like you can feel a certain way. Maybe you're feeling really low, but you go to class and you're functioning and you have relationships. Or perhaps you feel okay, but you're not functioning real well. So like if you're emotionally feel pretty stable, but you're not attending class or you're not engaging in a social capacity. So I'd say mental health is kind of the umbrella term for how well people are doing in terms of their emotional well-being, but also their functionality.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and they could be doing well. They could appear to be doing well, but like inside there could be a multitude of things going on.
Correct.
And how would you relate that to like academic performance? If somebody's not exactly functioning right in their head, like how can that impact them in the classroom or doing their schoolwork?
Yeah, so that the academic piece is a big part of the functionality, right? So perhaps someone is highly anxious, so not feeling well emotionally or coping well emotionally, but performing well in classes, so that and almost like anxiety might fuel academic performance to a certain extent. However, there are times when that anxiety could become debilitating, and then that could have a negative effect on academic performance in terms of, not being able to focus or not being able to feel like you're able to complete the tasks that
not being able to put like 100% of your energy into what it is you're doing.
Because you're worrying about it or nervous about something. So so certainly it can have an effect on but your emotional on academic performance, but your emotional well-being can also affect academic performance in terms of like if you're not feeling well enough to get up and go to class or to study for exams, or you're kind of putting things off, then that has a negative impact as well.
Yeah, and like all your energy that you're using on like the anxiety or the stress, you could be using to be doing good work in class or something like that.
Yeah.
So what methods would you recommend students utilize in order to combat some of the stress or anxiety from like a really loaded school schedule?
I mean, so many students are doing so many things, right? So they have their academic coursework and projects, but they have extracurricular activities. Many of our students are working.
Jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah, jobs, and then they have family relationships and friend relationships that they're trying to devote some time to. One way to help your ability to cope with a lot on your plate is to really build in ways to take good care of yourself. Chronic lack of sleep is a real problem for college students, and that has a pretty significant negative impact on academic performance, but also overall well-being and mental health. So students who practice good sleep hygiene are practicing good self-care, so meaning like they go to bed at the same time, wake up at roughly the same time, don't try to catch up on sleep on the weekends, really try to maintain a regular schedule. That is something that could be helpful for students in terms of managing stress through this very important self-care activity that is often the first thing to go when people have packed schedules. They tend to neglect their sleep.
Okay. Yeah. So you wouldn't recommend students who don't get enough sleep during the week to then go in the weekend and try to make up all that sleep in a matter of 2 days.
Right. So research has shown us at this point that that is not an effective strategy, and really trying to maintain a regular sleep schedule with adequate sleep, 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night would be ideally what you would operate most functionally on that kind of a schedule rather than trying to make it all up on the weekends.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Anything else you can, in terms of like self-care?
Yeah, so spending time with loved ones, like making time to spend with friends and family, and doing it in a way that you're not stressing about something else while, like I should be studying or I should be doing something else, really trying to set aside time that you can be mindfully present with your friends and family.
Like in the moment.
Yeah, trying to really stay in the moment so that you can be more focused when you're getting that, getting that benefit from connecting with other people in your life. I would add to that, being outside if you can, like
just the outdoors.
Just like walking.
Brighten someone's mood.
Yeah, I mean, really engaging like outside in nature can be very therapeutic and have a very important kind of self-care aspect. Exercise, spending time like walking or running, whatever activity feels good for you, that would be something to try to engage with regularly as part of a self-care routine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think my last question is sort of already touched on this, but my last question would be, so one of your main areas of focus is positive mental health, and so why would you say positive mental health is such a key component to academic success?
Well, students so often are talking about how stressed they are. They tend to focus, like the rest of the population, on the negative that's around them, like the stress, the burdens, the hassles of everyday life, and what we miss out on when we are focused on that are the pleasures that surround us all the time, but we're just not paying attention to them. So think like if you're walking outside between classes and you're thinking about, oh my gosh, how am I going to get everything done? You're missing the feeling of the sunshine on your face, right? And here is this pleasurable thing that can happen, that's happening to you whether you're paying attention to it or not. But if you can actually mindfully be aware of it, then that can go very far in terms of affecting your mental health positively. It's just a matter of trying to, and it takes time and focus to retrain your brain to focus or note the pleasures that happen all the time, like those first couple sips of coffee in the morning, or laughing with a friend, doing things that you do anyway. You might as well pay attention to them so that you can get like the full benefit of the positive contribution to your mental health.
Yeah, exactly. And just the things that we take for granted or we're just not conscious of, but like it's the little or the simple things that can have, I guess, the biggest impact is what you're saying.
We tend to wait for like big monumental moments.
If you need to take that, you
sorry,
can. Sorry,
no, I just need to forward it, but I don't know how to do that, so I'm going to let it go.
No worries.
Sorry to mess up your recording.
No worries.
We tend to focus on like these big occasions, right? Like graduating from college or, passing a big exam. Well, if we wait just for those things to be pleasurable, like we're missing out on so many other things. What are we going to do with the rest of the time?
Yeah, exactly.
And really, those big events only have a small impact anyway. But if we can start to train ourselves to notice all the positive things that are happening around us, even when circumstances are stressful and your schedule is packed, we can really kind of change how we feel and function in our everyday.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I figure that's something everybody is guilty of one way or another. At some point, we don't recognize all the wonderful things that are going on around us because we're focused on getting this paper in by the due date or whatever stresses are going on in our lives. So I think what you said makes a lot of sense, and if more people could just be conscious of the more positive things instead of just focusing on the negative things, maybe we all wouldn't be so stressed. Yeah. But yeah, I think that pretty much gives me what I need, so I thank you for your time.
Great, yeah. I hope that it works out and you get your project finished.
Yeah, same.
Tomorrow.
It's something I've become accustomed to, but